So we began with Mondrian in very first version of Faro, if I remember correctly, and so the idea of Mondrian was to make this scripting engine that based on the work of Doru, and since then we moved into Roassal. So I would like to show you Roassal3. We've been working on for more than 1 year on Roassal3, and it's going soon to be in stable versions. So there will be some major changes in the API, but the goal of Roassal3 is to be, we hope to make a good proposal for the Faro community to be part of Faro, and that is really what we are aiming to. So this is a visualization made in Roassal3. So I will, so I will do a bit of scripting, and then I will show you plenty of examples that we've been working on. So I will use as an example a small model that we found, which is Les Misérables. So this is the book from Victor Hugo, and there is some movies about that. So the idea is that here in that model, I have the characters, and I'm looking for their co-appearance. So here I creating a view. I'm creating some the character elements. So here I say the shape builder here. I want a circle and elements on characters here. And I need to add those characters to the view here. I evaluate, and this is they're all here a small dot here because all the elements are in the same place. So I can add a layout here. This is still a bit more small because I do not explicitly control with the camera. So I can control the camera here. I say I want the control view here. And now here I have the elements. I cannot inspect them. There is not much I can do because I didn't add the proper interaction here. But I say I want to have the popper for each element and maybe having that thing draggable here. And here this is child, and here I don't know. I can, we have a ways to define normalization here. We say a normalizer, or maybe we want to normalize the size here. I have to say the elements I want to normalize, and I say normalize the number of co-appearances here. And here we have Jean Valjean, and here we have Gavroche and Marius and so on. So here I'm normalizing on the size. I can normalize it that on the color here, and I can add some edges here. And I have RS edge builder and line here elements, and I have to say what are the elements I want to connect. And here this is the characters here, and I want connect to all characters here. I need to say the view here. And maybe I want to move this in, move behind. And the grid layout is maybe not the most appropriate. Maybe you can have the force-based layout on CS. And I can, there are several ways to parameterize that. I can have charges. I think that should be done here. So also so what I've just showed you is something you could have done in Roassal2 or even Roassal1. So something we've been working very hard is about all the interactions. So we really want to make Roassal closer to what modern visualization engine can offer, such as D3, for example, on the web. So here I can open. So here I will escape and something new here we have is this. So here we have some animation here, and you see, and here we have some options, so we can navigate that. So if I press I here, I'm zooming it here. And you see that here we have some scroll bar here. Again, it's something new in Roassal 2. We didn't have that. And press space, and I zoom in. So that doesn't seem a big deal, but it is very, very, very helpful here. Okay. Example here. So yeah, I will go through the examples we have. So so here also we can have some UMLs. We have builders to build UMLs, and you can parameterize that in many different ways. Here you have those very nice curves. Yeah. And again, so here we are exploiting the same mechanism that SVG is offering. So usually, it's really, yeah, it's very well crafted here. And so you can define those Bezier with dashes, and there are several ways you can parameterize the dashes here. You can also create some new widgets, for example, new visual things here where you have the corner in one side and some curves on the other side here. I think. And also we are here using the work I think that Cyril has been doing on the geometry packages, where here you have you see all those arrows here that are really closely following the border of the elements. So it's very smooth. It really works well. This is what you would expect from any modern visualization engine here. And yeah, and here we have some plenty of animations here. We can do drag and drop of the thing here, and yeah. And also we can visualize those quad trees here. So to have that smooth and fast, it means that here there is a notion of quad trees behind. Oh, what happened? That is the demo effect. Amazing. Yeah. So in Roassal, so one big difference between Roassal 2 and 3 is the support for animations. We usually rethought completely the way we want to animate things. And we took some very good ideas from D3. So D3 is very good at doing some animation. So we took really some of these ideas and got them running in Faro. So here, this is, some animations. And here you see these small little widgets here that indicates the number of frames per second. So if I reduce that, and it goes higher. Again, doesn't seem a big deal, but here is rounded and it's very smooth. And really, the idea is to have something that really looks like goods in plain Faro. And so here we have the shadow. You see the shadow here behind? And also we do some matrix transformations to handle all the translation and the transformation you can do. So and I think we do it well. So, and you have the things here. And again, all the code is there. All the code is there. So the code is a bit long because this is a complex animations, but everything is there. You can tweak, you can play with that, you can modify the way you want. Yeah. So there is a whole set of noise mechanism you can have. So here we have this Berlin noises mechanism that is very effective at conveying some very good visual effect. And here this is, So this one, yeah. And again, so if some of you are familiar with D3, you will see that many of these animations come from D3, and that was exactly our goal, to see how we can, if D3 can do it, then we should be able to do it here. Also, we handle bitmaps, here, and this is bitmap. I think that it goes from the web, and again, you have this small widget here where you can plug different metrics, and And again, here this shows some parameters of the noise algorithm that is used here. Ah. Can I have that? Works here? Yeah, it works. So here we have this retina. Again, this is so Milton. Milton is the author of all those animations, and he's really an artist. So I'm really happy to have Milton around because I will not be able to do that. So yeah, I don't know. I was thinking at some point to make that talk called Art in Faro, but yeah. And yeah, so I hope it's not too boring because I have plenty of examples and yeah, I don't know if you have questions, please do.
How do you get so fast, especially with the shading and all this stuff? Do you use the graphical chip or do you do that in image?
I don't think we use a graphical. So I don't know, but we use a library. We use the Cairo library that is also available in VisualWorks. So we simply use Cairo. Cairo, the Cairo library. Yeah, I think for all the matrices transformation, it probably happens in the GPU. But again, there is much more that can happen in the GPU. Yeah, so some question here? Yep. Yes, and I think here this is because there are some copying that has to be done from the net from the OS from outside Faro to Faro, from Cairo to Faro, and I'm not, so maybe Esteban can say a bit more about what really is going on here, but yeah, so there is some unnecessary copying that is happening. So on some points, so here, when we do not try to be too fancy on that particular aspect, because there is the wooden effort that we that maybe can change the way we render things, and also there is the GTK that is coming for Faro. So currently we are waiting to see, but we have very good indicator that things can really speed up soon. And yeah, it's very psychedelic, so it's kind of. So there are many things that comes from D3. You know, for example, this idea of markers. You know, this belongs to SVG, and D3 is getting benefit from. So some of the models, I think, if I'm not wrong, are very inspired by D3. All this animation, I think. You know, like. Sorry.
What is the code size comparison between JavaScript and
I think we are quite comparable. So the API of Roassal3 will change because again, we you know, we have a vision but the vision we have has to matches the expectation from the community. And even though like me, I do feel comfortable with all these scripting facilities, but probably we will remove some of these facilities to make Roassal more you know, friendly. So I cannot really answer to that question now. I mean, probably next ESUG it will be much more clearer than now. Oh, this one is cool as well. So you know, so here this is you know, the pie and it's moving. So here this is that just show the size of some in terms of lines of code of Roassal. So you see that here the examples takes a lot of lines of code here, and yeah, this one I found it like beautiful. And here you have this color mixing here. That happens. It's not really optimal because there are some errors, but that really works smoothly. And here this is the text that has a border. So so I think that if I go here, somewhere here. Yeah, but something I want to show here is that, you know, like here we have the label, and here we're adding a border on that label, which is color white. Again, you know, this is, so we are getting very close to what SVG is really offering, because Cairo has been designed for that. and we are really benefit from that. So now here, if I change that, tick, here ESUG. And yeah, so there is a question. Yeah. It works. Yeah, so the question was whether it works on Linux and Windows. And on Linux, it does work. On Windows, I think so, but maybe Astares Torsten can say something about that. It does, so it does. Yeah, so it works on Windows as well. And yeah, and here you see that again, like with the, and here you have animation of the dashes. You see the animation here? It's animating on the dashes. Again, we are trying to be really, to be a very good foundation to build, cool stuff. Yeah. So when I say that Milton is an artist, I'm not lying. Yeah. So again, we have a whole noise mechanism that is able to make such pictures. So the noise probably won't be in the main distribution. They will be easily, accessible from a plugin. And yeah, this one is psychedelic as well. You see, Tuk. Tuk. Not a big deal, but he's he's really made to capture attention, right? Yeah. And also we do have some Bezier, and we can also animate those Beziers. The control point can move the way that they want. And again, here you have, you see like all the rotation of these triangles, and the Bezier really like goes on the triangles the way it should be. And again, this is what SVG is offering here. Yes, I will show some of them. Yeah, I will show some of them. And, again, I mean, so we copied plenty of visualization that we found, on the web, but the idea was really to have a very good, that was a very good exercise to see how far we can go and whether we are really, we can really compete with the most used and the best visualization engine, and so far we are. And we can compose animation. Here we have an example of that. And that works for Faro 7 and Faro 8. And this one's beautiful as well. So again, all this noise mechanism, the Perlin noises. And yeah, this one is a small boat here. Yeah. And here you have, like very, very thin, and here thicker, and, there is no apparent bugs, and that is cool. So we do handle SVG, I think, very well. So here we have, small example here. We can drag and drop those things here. So we do support SVG well. And also, I think there is a way where you can, play with different part of the SVG files here, and so here I can zoom in, and it does zoom. Also, we spend some times on the animated layouts. So some of the layouts can be animated. So here we have the hierarchical packaging here. So here this is a visualization that is so I won't go into details, but this is the torch-like visualization here. Since question, sorry. I couldn't see because...
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how do you make the animations in terms of there is an event loop, or like how are they scheduled?
Yeah.
How do you control the time?
Yeah. So here, each refresh, then we do each refresh we do some increment of the visual of the animations, and yeah, and yeah, so then we, between each frames, I think we compute the time spent between each frames, and then we adjust the animation with that. So, but again, this is very close to what D3 is offering. So if the animation is, if there are plenty of widgets to be rendered, then the animation should not be slower. But there will be some less frame per second, but it should not be slower here. Yeah, the goal was not really to show that visualization here, but more to see. Okay, so here you see the layout, how it is. So here we can, if I adjust here the size, you see that the layout try to accommodate with the space given by the window here. And then, you know, there is a balance between moving things around and zooming, right? So here I have more space, so, you know, but then if I, you know, so this is the work I think that Martin has done here. And so here we can do some animated layout here, you know, like we have the grid here, you know, the tree here, and the cell layouts to have something like a matrix, horizontal tree. So we can do some morphing of layouts, and this is pretty cool. Yeah. So also here we have the force layout as I show. You know, you can drag and drop nodes and play with it, and this one here is really cool as well. So here I open it here. So here this is the force-based layout. And again, if I give more space to the graph, then it expands a bit. But then if I try to, you know, reduce the space in one dimension, then it accommodates. So here, each board of the window acts as a magnet that ripples. This is the idea of the layout. So each node is a magnet, a repulsing magnet, and each edge is a spring. And I can, you know, just accommodate. I think, again, this is Milton and Martin who worked on that. It's fascinating, at least for me. So we integrated some of this visualization in, yeah, but, you know, here, we try to have some of this visualization to put that into the system. So if I go here, glamour, and then here you have the again, you can zoom it. The iceberg view, no, I don't have the iceberg view right now because Martin will show it and show us your project. Again, iceberg, yeah, I didn't want to spoil the presentation of Martin, that's why I didn't put that. But the idea is that if you take any modern Git client, then you will see some, you know, some branches, visualization of the branches with the visualization, you know, like with the small avatar, you know, that are any good Git clients does it, and we do have cool visualizations that can be plugged into iceberg. But Martin will show that on some point. Yes, so this is what I wanted to show you. I don't know if you have more questions, and now is a good time, but there is not much time left. So I just want to thank you. Again, this is very early work, but the idea or plan is really have that into far-right. And the documentation will come. The documentation, so next year, you know, A-Press is apparently very happy to you know, publishing books in Faro, and the Agile visualization book will be updated for Roassal3 and be turned as a real book that you can buy in, you know, from a real publisher. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, question, Christian.
Yeah, you said the SVG integration is really good. How good is it? So is it a full-blown SVG viewer?
I don't think so. I'm not expert in SVG. Maybe Milton can say a bit more about that. But again, our idea was to have a proof of concept, and we see how it goes. You know, like at the end, we are offering things, and we see how the community reacts from that. If now someone wants to have a full SVG support, then we should talk. Thank you very much.